Right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals. As promised, I thought I'd just notify you that I'm going to do a couple of Facebook Lives like this per week. And I did one yesterday about interviews because my wife, Lisa, was going for an interview for it was like a part-time job working in a church, I think, in an office. So she used to be a legal secretary, like a PA, multi-talented, multi-languages, things like that. So she was going for this job yesterday, and I said on the post yesterday, if you haven't seen it, that she was a little bit ill-prepared, that she hadn't printed off her CV, she hadn't checked it, she got the right sort of clothes to wear. There was a few things that sort of messed up. But she was fine with it, and she went and had the interview yesterday. So I spoke to her afterwards, and she said it went really well, and she wasn't that nervous at all, which is really good because she's not had an interview in at least 15 years, I'd say. So some of you guys who have not had interviews for contracts, maybe you've been perm for a long time, you may be feeling that sort of slight little arse twitchy moment of going for interviews. And I used to be scared, all the time going for interviews. But as I said yesterday, I'm now a lot more confident in interviews because I feel like I'm interviewing them, and it's a two-way process rather than me being under the sort of scrutiny, under the magnifying glass. So I just wanted to share with you, we got a result from the interview yesterday, and it was that she didn't get the job. So she didn't get the job. And what really impressed me was that my wife was really cool about it. But it also tells me two things, because the reason she wasn't upset about not getting the job is because, of course, she didn't really want that job. It was a job that was going to involve working during the summer holidays, and she didn't really want to do that. She'd like one that sort of ties in with school term times and school timings, things like that. So she wants it to work for our family. So she wasn't too upset about not getting the job. She got loads of great feedback though, which is good. So if ever you have an interview, usually it'll be via an agency. Always try and find out, it's regardless of whether you get the job or not, can you get some feedback? Because only through feedback are you going to find out what your strengths and weaknesses maybe were. Because some of them you're going to know yourself, but some of them you're just not going to be aware of. So they may come across and say, you were talking too fast, which I often do. So I'm blurbing, trying to get the words out, and I may come across too eager, too keen, just not communicating effectively. So she got great feedback though, direct from the guy, because there was no agency involved, and said, you're a really nice person. I'm sure you're very well qualified for the job. And the only but, I think, was that they saw someone else, which happens all the time in our line of work. They saw someone else equally qualified, but they were more happy working on their own in this specific little office. So my wife was a little bit concerned about working on her own in an open office where people can just come in off the street. And occasionally they get like drunks and homeless people coming in because it's a church and it's always open. So there was a specific reason why I think my wife didn't get the job. This other person was, happier, more confident in working on their own like that. But that's great feedback, because that sort of shows that it's not something necessarily to do with her skills that meant she didn't get the job. It was just the sort of specific situation of that position. So that's really good. So if you get the chance to get feedback from an agency about why you didn't get the job, it is really good. And if you can jot that down, put it in Evernote, something like that, or just mentally make sure you lock it away there about why you didn't get that job, then it's really useful for the future. So the other thing I just wrote down was the other type of situation is when you go for an interview, not like my wife, where she wasn't that bothered whether she got it or not, but what about a job, and I've had this myself, where you absolutely want that job. I really want that job. I remember I went for a job in St. Paul's, I think it was, in central London in the city, and I really wanted it. I really wanted the job. I've been out of work for a couple of months. Remember, I've only been out of work, I think, twice for any length of time in 23 years. Well, one of them, about 4 years ago. I really wanted this job, and I thought I came across really well at interview, and it seemed to go really well, but I didn't get the job. So that's the first bang, you get hit with, no, you're not going to get that contract. The second thing was, though, I spoke to the agency, and the agency just went quiet on me. They just went rogue on me. And so sometimes that happens. Sometimes you'll get the feedback. Yeah, they found someone better. You came across like a bit of a knob. You spoke too fast, whatever it is. Yeah, but as much as it hurts, at least you can take that forward and try and address that and make yourself better for the next time. But what whacked me on this occasion was the fact that I couldn't even get hold of the agency. I couldn't even get hold of him. Not even a courtesy thing of, I think I just got one initial email saying no, but no reasons at all. When I chased it up, tried to call him, subsequent emails, still didn't get a bloody reason why I didn't get the job. And all I wanted to know was, was there no project? Was it someone hired internally? Was I just the second person for the job, second best or bottom of the list even, whatever it was? I just wanted to get some sort of feedback. So my point is that with my wife's situation where she wasn't that bothered, it was all okay that she didn't get the job. But with me really wanting this other job in the city, that then it hits your ego, because you want that job. You want to know why. You want to know, why did I screw up? What did I do? What did I say that was wrong? Or was there just someone else better out there? So when you're emotionally attached to the result, i.e. getting the job, that's when it can hit you hard. So it's hard to do, but you've got to try and approach interviews. Like I say, you're interviewing them as well as them interviewing you, but try not to show that sort of, I wouldn't say desperation, but just try and detach yourself from getting that job, like as if it's an absolute thing you must get. Okay, because, and I do like to believe that, things will happen for a reason. So if you don't get that job, it will be for a reason, and there'll be something else that comes up for you that is right for you. And if you don't get the job, then that's fine. It was meant to be for someone else. And you've got to realize there's things in life you can control and things in life you can't control. That's all there is. And of the things you can control, the only things you can control are your thoughts and your actions. So you just got to, you have no idea what is going on with that external client. There could be a real mess of a project there. I've had job offers in the past, and then the project has just disappeared because they've got no budget. So you don't always find out that information straight away, or it might take you a lot of digging to find out why you didn't get a job. So we can often sort of beat ourselves up, a real shitload of times. I've done it myself, about why I didn't get this job, and it doesn't serve you. So I just wanted to share that with you. Ultimately, either way, whether you get a contract or whether you don't get a contract or a job, whatever situation it is, for example, with my wife, it is always building your experience. Never forget that. You are constantly evolving your experience going to interviews, and you're building your confidence. It might not seem like it, but once you've had your first interview, which, it could be a car crash, it could be fine, it could be just that you're really nervous, you feel sick beforehand, whatever it is. But your second one, I guarantee, is going to be easier. Your third one, even easier. Fourth, fifth, sixth. I've had, I don't know, I might have had 10 interviews over the last, the last time I was looking for a job, I maybe had sort of between 6 and 10 interviews. And even you get a bit rusty, but then once you get into the second or third one, it's really good. So that's why I always stress, try and go for a few interviews before maybe that ideal job that you really do like, because you don't want to be massively emotionally attached to getting that job and it be your first ever interview, because you're putting all your eggs in one basket. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but because that might be the only thing that's available, that's the only thing that's in front of you at the moment. But if you can have a couple of warm-up interviews, then go for them. Really, really go for them. Go for them. Doesn't matter if you're not offered the job. If you're offered the job and you didn't really want it in the first place, even better, because you're saying no to them, you're not wasting their time too much. But my point is if you've got that really juicy role out of 3 or 4 roles you might be looking at, try and make sure that one is 2nd or 3rd or 4th interview down the line, to give yourself that little bit of practice. So that's just something I do. What else was I going to say? I was going to say, any comments you want to put on this, or then please put them below. I can't seem to see live comments I'm doing Facebook Live on my laptop. I'll try and do it on my phone another day to see if that is different, but I can't seem to see a way of seeing comments. So apologies if I'm not answering them. I will get my phone sorted so I can do Facebook Lives. I was just trying to work out how to do it in the right mode, in a portrait landscape, and be able to see comments. So bear with me. But please put any comments below if you've got any questions for me, or you just want to comment and help other people. That would be really useful, and I will answer them straight after this session. Don't forget, if you want to see more lives, then I think there's like a notifications. You can say notify when Dave's going live, and you can follow my live feed, so therefore you'll get notified next time I go live. So I plan to do a couple of these per week ideally, and coming up soon I'm going to be doing some more of my free training sessions following the sort of similar format I've done before. It's like a 90-minute webinar, and following on from that I'll be running my next, it may be my final live coaching course. So that's a 7-week live coaching program where I try and show people through the 7 stages of mastery that I've created for contracting. And within that 7 weeks, we try and sort out your CV, your LinkedIn profile, interviews. We cover a whole host of topics, and I try and get your CV in front of all my best agencies, the ones that I know that will look after you, not screw you over. And, you know, it'll be a nice warm introduction to getting that contract. And this is also not just for people who haven't contracted at all before. If you've contracted maybe for a little while, or you still feel like you need to learn some stuff, then hopefully these sort of trainings will be good for you as well. So I look forward to seeing you soon. I hope you all have a fantastic week. Okay, cheers guys.